Hey guys, welcome to my corner of the internet. Today we're going to be doing a journey through our heels. This is my best friend Casey. I've known her since what?
14.
Yeah, so we've been friends for quite some time. This series is actually happening because this is kind of her idea, and I'm lucky to call her my friend, and she's here to do this.
Yay! I definitely think that, no matter what country you come from, no matter what ethnicity, diversity, race, religious preference, sexual preference, we all go through things on a daily basis that are downright difficult. And it's very amazing that you put out such raw content, allowing different women to share their stories, and I can't wait to see them. I think they're going to be amazing, and it's great to see how we're all different, yet how we all have the same commonality and different things we've gone through. And while that's both painful, it's also a really beautiful thing that connects us all so that we can all feel together as if we're all a big family. And I definitely believe that that's how we should be as women. Like you said, we don't want negative commentary or any discrimination. Obviously, we all have flaws and imperfections, and, everything's not perfect on our bodies or with what we say, and sometimes we trip over our own words, but that's what makes us beautiful and imperfect. Yeah. That's the thing about humanity. We don't have all the time in the world. We have a limited run here, and we do the best we can with what we've got.
Yep.
And I do believe, just really quick, touching back on what you had said about how you grew up with different people who carry themselves in a different way in the African American community.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's so deeply rooted in our family, specifically mine, because of what my grandparents and my parents went through, that they were so fearful that we would have the same experience in life that they were very tough on us with that. We weren't allowed to participate in African American dances or saying or any type of stepping where you put your, your hands under your knees and you're kind of cool. We weren't allowed to participate in certain African American stereotypical activities because my grandparents really wanted us to have a fair, clean slate. Yeah. And they wanted us not to be discriminated against. We weren't given overly ethnic names. We were not dressed in a certain manner. We were not allowed to, again, speak in a way that was improper. My grandparents both had their master's degree and were in education, and so they felt that it didn't matter what color you were, everyone should be presentable, articulate, and professional when they're out speaking with people. You should not carry yourself in a way to where you would dishonor your family or the culture you come from or the religion that you come from. It was all about maintaining a very respectful demeanor at all times.
Yeah.
And just having manners and actually having empathy and caring for other people.
Yeah.
That was a really big thing. I remember spending countless Sundays in my youth feeding the sick and shut-in at church and just really giving back to those who couldn't give to themselves and who needed a little extra help at that time in their lives. Yeah. And it definitely put in a foundation for me to have a very charitable and humanitarian focus because I love giving back. It's honestly one of the most rewarding and just amazing things you can be part of. And I'm really grateful. I got to go on my first missions trip last year to Puerto Rico after their hurricane, and again, just like with African American Black Lives Matter and racism, we get in America the glossed over version. The reality day to day that these people have gone through is heartbreaking and devastating, especially for the communities that are elderly or impoverished and cannot afford to flee the state. And it was heartbreaking. And so being able to get back to that really opened my eyes again because we are very sheltered and very privileged in America no matter where we come from or what we are. And it's good to get a little humility in your bones every now and then. And the sooner the better. The more often the better. It's just such a helpful thing because it really grounds you and gives you a perspective shift. Yeah. And I think that we all can get complacent and really stuck in these mindsets where we're comfortable, and that's not good. I think we definitely should stretch ourselves and definitely yearn to be the best we can be, and giving back and without expecting something in return, just freely giving with an open heart is just a really beautiful aspect of character.
It's funny because it's like we're always so giving to our friends and our family and our loved ones, but then we forget that there's other people out there and other people who are struggling. Like, we need to give back to them too, is something that I'm still working on, and I'm trying to teach my daughter too. So, yeah.
And I think that's difficult. Obviously, there's a lot of scam artists and con artists out there who will take from you, and someone with a really giving heart, there's only so much you can do before you get burnt out and angry and frustrated and you feel really betrayed. And so again, that goes back to just self-love and just really loving yourself throughout every circumstance, because things get tough and you want to give up. You start worrying or wondering what's going on with you. And
God, take me now.
Yeah, just I'm on this mountaintop, Lord. I know you can lift me up. Just take me now.
Yeah.
Just wanting to be free of the, worldly circumstances. And
so
it's very interesting. And another quick story. I'm very charitable, have been since I was younger, obviously because of a lot of the racism and the discrimination that I went through. And I always really cared about homeless people until 2010, when a man ran out into oncoming traffic and I was in a 3-car accident that actually totaled my car. And I remember that charitable, beautiful heart that I had became so bitter and angry and frustrated, because we live in a society that allows homeless people to run out in the streets instead of caring for these people and everyone kind of giving back and supporting them as a community. We have this infrastructure where it's okay for them to sit on the streets all day in the freezing cold, and as soon as they see a dollar bill, they're chucking themselves into traffic, which is dangerous for them and others. And so I remember really struggling with homeless people for a long time, and just the dynamic around how our society deals with such discrepancies.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to really get my heart back to that same place, because I had personally been in a traumatic event regarding it. And so, again, constant readjustments and just making sure that we're in a mental place where we can just love and accept everybody and really have a good heart about things and be open-minded and just willing to give to others and to be a good person.
Yeah.
Because it can be difficult.
It is hard.
When someone's yelling at you a racial slur, it's really hard to maintain your composure and just to react with class, because it's very painful, and it's typically something that's very internal that they're attacking. It's typically about your character, your identity, maybe where you grew up, maybe your mom or your dad.
Yeah.
And so just really maintaining composure and having a head on your shoulders and a good heart and just self-control to really maintain yourself in all aspects while there are tough circumstances going on. I think that's a really crucial aspect, and that's the only thing with some of the protests that we've had some issues with, is people going out there and pretending they're part of it and doing really atrocious things, and other people just having the right heart behind it, but they just get so overworked that they don't have the control over themselves to portray it in a manner that's going to be respected and taken in as constructive feedback for the government. And I think that definitely detriments the movement a little bit. Again, though, we've got hundreds of years of deprecation and racism and discrimination, so people are at their breaking point. Especially with COVID, I think people just were already stressed and locked in their homes and not getting social interaction. They were stir crazy, and then these murders kept occurring, and they were horrible.
Yep.
And not to downplay any of the murders that have happened previous to George Floyd, but it really shone a bright light on something that was needing to be reformed, and a revolution was behind it. Obviously, we're in a completely different place right now with what's going on, and it's beautiful to see that other people are rallying behind it.
And people care.
And
to see not just like our generation, but the generation below us giving a shit about something.
Absolutely.
Instead of like crying about everything. But
And I think the biggest thing with the movement is that I've heard some African American folks say that, well, they're white, they shouldn't be here. They don't need to be speaking right now. Yet we're telling them that their white silence is inappropriate. And so I think there's a time and a place for other ethnicities to voice their opinion, absolutely. I think that we should be very welcoming and embrace the fact that people are taking the time and they have the courage to come and stand with us, because they don't have to. They can stay behind their closed doors, and they don't have to stand with us. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to be unified with us.
not at all.
And I think what we so quickly forget is that when Martin Luther King marched, there was all kinds of people that marched with us that were not African American. Whether they were gypsies or Jewish or white, it doesn't matter. Maybe they were hippies. If you're coming together to support the community and to support a human being, we should not be discouraging people from coming and standing together with us, because community and synergy and bringing people together for a common cause in love is the most beautiful thing I think we've seen in an entire generation. Just the coming together.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I'm not African American, but I think it's beautiful. Like, people are risking their lives during COVID to come support you guys.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, I just think it's really cool, because I didn't think I would be able to live through something like this, where it's like drastic change, which is like really, really cool. I mean, it sucks about like the circumstances that caused it, but I think it'll only help our world get better and
Absolutely.
accept people more and just really love each other for who we are at our hearts.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Come together right now.
I think Casey's a performer. She's a dancer.
That was not.
Well, she's an
That was not pleasant.
ex-cheerleader.
That was not pleasant.
I don't know how she cheered with boobs, but
They weren't.
they
we
weren't
could
that
talk
big
about
yet.
the African American genetics another time. But yes, I was blessed by my mama. She got it from her mama.
Yeah, for sure. No, your moms are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways.
But yes, let's all come together in unity and support each other. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you having me on. I think this is a beautiful movement that you're starting, and it's incredibly courageous and just incredible of you to reach out to these women that you know, to just hear their stories, and not even only to hear it yourself and to take what you've learned, but to share it with your followers as well and people that may come across this channel in the future.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I hope that it continues to uplift and to educate and inform your followers and people that,
Everybody.
we're in a
not
new
alone.
normal.
Yeah.
And love and diversity and equality and courage, acceptance, all of
Exactly.
those things are really important.
Open your heart to. I don't want to say everybody because there's some creepy people out there. but-
Absolutely.
Anyways,
With
guys.
discernment.
Yeah, with discernment. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. We will see you in our next video. But don't forget to tap that like button and that subscribe button because we upload every Fridays. Bye!